Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. It's the most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 3rd of December. The first important news that is centered to prioritize wages for MGNREGA site supervisor, which has been long pending, and the demand has been arising from the site supervisor to make their timely payment. Second, existing collegium system should not be derailed. This is what the Supreme Court judges has noted. Third, India-US hold discussion on social changes. Fourth, tourist guide to fund unique India experience at G20. India has been recently overtaken the presidency of G20 और ये एक ऐसी प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ पे इंडिया अपने लिए एक प्रेसिडेंट सेट कर सकता है. And the last is an editorial connecting the India's East with the Indo-Pacific. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do press a like button. Starting the session with the first news that is centered to prioritize wages for MGNREGA site supervisor. Something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is under the subtopic Government Policies and Intervention for the Development of Various Sectors and Issues Arising from its Design and Implementations. So recently, the Union Rural Development Ministry has devised a protocol to prioritize the payment to the mates और साइट सुपरवाइजर. इसे मेट्स के नाम से भी जाना जाता है या फिर साइट सुपरवाइजर बोल सकते हैं. Now the ministry has come up with the notion that जो पेमेंट है इनकी वो टाइमली की जाएगी. These are working for the मनरेगा, that is महात्मा गांधी नेशनल रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम. तो जो मनरेगा के साइट सुपरवाइजर हैं, मेट्स हैं, उनकी पेमेंट को प्रायोरिटाइज की जाएगी और टाइमली की जाएगी, ऐसा कहना है यूनियन रूरल मिनिस्ट्री का. In the recent time, there has been persistent complaint from the mates or the site supervisor that their wages were under MGNREGA and accordingly they were delayed for a good number of time. Now looking into the part of provisions of the wage payment, so what are the criteria और किस worker को किस तरह से payment की provisions रखी गई है under MGNREGA. So the wages for the unskilled worker has to be paid within 15 days. तो जो एग्जीक्यूट हो रही है काम उन्हें 15 डेज के अंदर वर्कर्स की पेमेंट करनी होगी. एंड इफ इट इज डिलेड द सेंटर हैज टू कंपनसेट देम. तो विद इन 15 डेज इफ द वर्कर इज गेटिंग देयर रेम्यूनरेशन इट इज गुड. इफ नॉट, इफ एनी वन डे इज एडेड देन द कंपनसेशन पार्ट विल ऑल्सो बी एडेड. नाउ मेट्स और सुपरवाइजर का ऐसा कहना है कि वो जो है वो एक्चुअली फ्रंट लाइन सुपरवाइजर हैं जो कि पूरे प्रोग्राम को एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं और उनकी एक स्पेसिफिक नॉलेज होने की वजह से they are categorized as the semi-skilled worker, जो कि unskilled worker के कैटेगरी में नहीं आते, जिस वजह से इनकी पेमेंट अगर डिले होती है एक दिन से भी तो उनको किसी भी तरह का कंपनसेशन नहीं दिया जाता है. So now what they are doing, they are also listing them as a semi-skilled worker, right? Now basically semi-skilled तो ये already registered है, अभी अपने आप को unskilled की तरह भी represent कर रहे हैं. Now, owing the delay, many states, the maids has been listing themselves as an unskilled worker to get their wage on time. अगर wage time पे नहीं मिलती है within 15 days, then if extra days added, they will be also compensated, right? The difference in the wage as compared to the unskilled worker is usually minor, as they can beat the delay in the payment for the semi-skilled worker, which can go up to a year. तो कई बार ऐसा देखा गया कि जो unskilled worker है उनकी पेमेंट कुछ टाइम से डिले होती है, बाद में उनको कॉम्पनसेशन भी दिए जाते हैं. बट फॉर द अनस्किल्ड वर्कर, फॉर बेसिकली फॉर द सेमी स्किल्ड वर्कर, इनके पेमेंट्स देखे गए हैं कि एक साल तक डिले हुए हैं बिकॉज यहाँ पे कंपनसेशन का कोई प्रोविजन नहीं है. दैट इज द रीजन द पेमेंट आर डिलेड मच. तो एक बहुत बड़ी कंसर्न है, एक बहुत बड़ी लूप होल है जिसे इमीडिएटली रेक्टिफाई करने की जरूरत है. Now, material components, part of it, that the wage payment of the maids or the site supervisor are made from the material component. जहाँ पे state government often clear the vendor's bill related to the supply of the raw material from the construction before clearing the maid's payment, right? And this wage come from the material component, which is 60% of the amount that is paid by the union government. कुछ स्टेट्स की अगर बात करें कि स्टेट्स में किस तरह की लाइबिलिटी है और पेंडिंग है क्या क्या अमाउंट. सो वेस्ट बंगाल इज अमंग द हाईएस्ट, सबसे ज़्यादा वेस्ट बंगाल में देखी गई. दिस इज फॉलोड बाय बिहार, देन उत्तर प्रदेश, झारखंड, नागालैंड, गुजरात, महाराष्ट्र, तेलंगाना, उड़ीसा, आसाम, हरियाणा, लद्दाख एंड पुडुचेरी. And total wage liability as of now basically till is 4,720 crore rupees. Now annual MGNREGA expenditures की बात करें, pending liability and previous year, you can see the data here. The comparison has been made between the total expenditure and the liability from the last year. So this is for 2019-20 and these are the amount, and the percentage share is 17.81%. Now, the second news, existing collegium system should not be derailed. This is what the Supreme Court has noted, and it is important for General Studies paper 2 under the subtopic that is structure, organization and function of executive and judiciary. Now, the Supreme Court has recently said that the existing collegium system should not be derailed, and assistant from the top court is one of the most transparent institution in the country. This is what the Supreme Court judges has noted. Now, the another bench of the Supreme Court has said that nowadays it has become a fashion to comment upon the decision of the collegium, which was made by the former judges as a part of the collegium system. So, कोर्ट ने इस चीज पे कंसर्न भी रेज की गई है कि कोई भी कॉलेजियम सिस्टम के ट्रांसपेरेंसी पे सवाल उठा रहा है, विच इज़ नॉट राइट अंडर द स्पिरिट ऑफ द जुडिशरी. जुडिशरी एक ऐसी ट्रांसपेरेंट फंक्शंस कर रही है जो कि इम्पार्टली कोशिश ये करती है कि अपने जजमेंट के थ्रू लोगों की वेलनेस की जाए, उनकी खास करके जो जस्टिस है, राइट टू इक्वालिटी है, वो लोगों को मुहैया कराई जा सके. The Supreme Court immune from the RTI Act. The questionnaire where the decision of the collegiums comes under the purview of the Right to Information Act, under the Right to Information Act, which is a fundamental right. तो क्या कॉलेजियम सिस्टम के जो ऑर्डर्स हैं, जो से रिलेटेड इश्यूज हैं, उन्हें भी आरटीआई के दायरे में लाने की जरूरत है या नहीं, इसके बारे में भी कंसर्न रेज की गई है. The top court was hearing a petition of the RTI activist against the Delhi High Court order, dismissing her plea, seeking that the agenda of the Supreme Court collegium meeting was held in 2018. तो उसके बारे में डिटेल मांगी गई थी, जिसको सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने खारिज कर दिया इस प्ली को, and they've said that this cannot be disclosed. But there is अदर पॉइंट, एक बैलेंस्ड अप्रोच की बात की गई है पहले के कुछ सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट्स में या फिर ऑब्जर्वेशंस में. द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज रूल्ड दैट द ऑफिस ऑफ द चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया इज अ पब्लिक अथॉरिटी, राइट. ऐसा सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इस चीज को माना है, इट इज एविडेंट ऑफ द फैक्ट, एंड अंडर द राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन एक्ट पे इसे लाई जा सकती है. दिस इज ओनली विद द ऑफिस ऑफ द चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया एंड नॉट अबाउट द कॉलेजियम सिस्टम. ये स्पेसिफिकली चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया की बात हो रही है. The 5-judge constitutional bench headed by the Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi have said that the Supreme Court is a public authority and the office of the CJI is part and parcel of the institution. The judiciary cannot function in the total insulations and the judges enjoy the constitutional posts and discharge their public duty. तो एक ये भी पहलू है जिसे हमें आरटीआई के कंसर्न में देखनी होगी. मगर अगर बात करें कॉलेजियम सिस्टम की, दिस इज समथिंग विच इज इंटरनल मैकेनिज्म फंक्शनिंग विद इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट, जिसके बारे में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ट्रांसपेरेंसी या फिर कहें उसके बारे में जिक्र आरटीआई के थ्रू नहीं करनी चाहती. However, the right to privacy is an important aspect and that has to be balanced with transparency and deciding to give out information from the office of the Chief Justice of India. And RTI cannot be used as a tool for surveillance and judicial independence to be kept in the mind while dealing with the transparency. तो ये कुछ challenges हैं RTI open करने के लिए, खास करके CGI के context में. So this office should not be used with a vestige interest and it should be only used for the purposes that is relevant for the part of information and nation building. Now, moving ahead, this is a comparison between the National Judicial Appointment Commissions and the collegium system. The collegium system की अगर बात करें, it's based on a three judges होते हैं. It is under the appointment of the judges that is made for the Chief Justice of India and four senior most judges of the Supreme Court. It has no constitutional backing. It's a provision. It has been since जब से इंसेप्शन हुई है सुप्रीम कोर्ट की तब से ये चीज़ें चल रही हैं. Constitution of India under Article 124 says that the appointment to be made by the President in consultation with the judges as President may deem necessary. Now, criticism says that the closed door system which lacks transparency. This has been long advocated with regards to the collegium system of appointment. Now, NGAC की बात की गई है जो कि एक body होगी which will be basically looking into the appointment of the part of the judges. It was passed in the Lok Sabha 2014 and was passed by the Rajya Sabha later. Will consist of 6 people that include CGI, senior most judges of the Supreme Court, law minister and 2 eminent persons. Now the criticism says that the judges in the NGC will need support with other to push the name, and they may fear that the judicial independence will definitely be compromised. So it's again a dicey and ambiguous conditions for both the government and the Supreme Court to come up with any conclusion with regards to NJAC. Moving to the other news, India-US hold a discussion on the social challenges, something important for General Studies Paper 2, under the subtopic that is the effect of politics and policies of developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. The newly appointed US charge affairs की अगर बात करें जो इंडिया के लिए specifically appoint की गई है, they said that India and United States has been holding a frank discussion on the social challenges over the time, and India and US relations permit us to have a frank discussion regarding the social changes. And in the United States, the treatment for ethical races, religious minorities, and other has to be taken into consideration. There are a lot of issues domestically for India as well that has to be, that was not even prioritized by the government. कुछ चीज़ों पे काम हुई है, बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें जिन पे अभी भी काम होनी. A recent report by the US Commissions on International Religious Freedom has urged the State Department to designate India as a country of particular concern. Now, US visa issuance की बात की जाए, with regards to the US visa issuance, the diplomat has said that the US government has issued 82,000 student visa to Indian national in the summer 2022, and the US government is currently recruiting many consular officers, out of which several will be posted in India to look into the matter of the visas. Now, India-US joint military exercise, US charged affairs to India has said that India-US joint military exercise, that is Yuddha Abhyas, was held in Uttarakhand, Himalayas. Again, very important for your prelims examination. Prelims point of view से ये काफ़ी important point है. Location भी important है और ये एक जो military exercises है उसके बारे में पूछी जा सकती है कौन सी country इस particular exercise को execute कर रही है. The senior fellow said that the recent defense equipment supplies meant for F-16 to Pakistan Air Force was not upgraded, and the threat to China's coming, that is, India has to talk about. Now, tourist guides to the front, unique India's experience at G20, something important for General Studies Paper 2, under the subtopic that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So, with India's assuming G20 presidency, recently the government has embarked a massive exercise to showcase India's training tourist guide or the tourist facilitator as a part of the process. So, India's presidency has started in December 2022 this month and will last till November 2023. Right? तो उस बीच इंडिया के जो टूरिज्म है उसे भी प्रमोट करने की बात की है गवर्नमेंट ने. 1000 tourist guide including 146 who can speak foreign languages has been located around 55 location in the country. I'll just name them location. मैं आपको आगे वीडियो के पार्ट में बताऊंगा कौन कौन से ऐसे locations हैं. The G20 meeting for the next 1 year to facilitate the foreign delegates and to ensure India unique experience for them. Now there was a training program for the volunteer as well. So the training of the tourist guide were being done through the Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management at regional directors from the Ministry of Tourism was a part of the particular program. The major part of the training would include the language programs into the 9 important languages that include French and German. The other areas that was focused was the etiquettes, knowledge and the local attraction, monuments, cuisine, handcraft and souvenir. Local monument specific guides की अगर बात करें, so the sources have said that 1,000 guides for the Ministry of Tourism has been asked to look into the matter, and Archaeological Survey of India had dropped the local monument guide that would be trained and meet with the help of particular cities, and they will be also guiding the delegates about the city's culture and diversity. The focus would be done on the UNESCO World Heritage Site specifically, and 100 center protected monument have been led for the week. तो उनको लाइट अप किया गया ताकि एक मेमोंटो की तरह G20 के जो प्रेसिडेंसी है उसको नोट किया जा सके. Now, these are the probable G20 venues. You can check out the venues, which city you reside. Does your city has the venue for G20? You can pause this video and you can check it out. Now, on inclusive efforts की बात की गई है. Training is being imparted to all stakeholders. Now, this will include the custom, immigrations, the ground staff, airport, local administrative officers, shopkeeper, priest, heritage temple, taxi driver, and the boatman. And training would also be imparted for soft skill communications, listening, expediting the problem resolutions, and first aid, and even the personal hygiene. Moving to the editorial of the day, connecting India East with the Indo-Pacific, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is India and its neighborhood relation. It is also important for the same paper where government policies and intervention are concerned. So what are the issues under this editorial? First, talking about the theme. The theme of this editorial is Northeast and the Indo-Pacific region. Some of the issues in the editorial that is highlighted is the demand for the Northeast, Indo-Pacific conclave, security situation in Manipur, development as a priority, and the way forward. So since 2018, India Look East or the Act East policy has recognized the phase of development where Indo-Pacific policy and strategy has its core essence. There are more important issues that are still need to be having the adequate security concern, जहाँ पे हमें economic development और बेटर इकोनॉमिक कनेक्टिविटी कनेक्शंस बढ़ाने की, चाहे वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट हो, इन सारी चीज़ों पे ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत है टू सेलेक्ट द साउथ एशियन एंड द साउथ ईस्ट एशियन नेशन. Henceforth, the effective way to work is for the free, open and inclusive, peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific region, जहाँ पे 5 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक जो हैं उस पर ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत है फॉर आर ईस्टर्न इंडिया, राइट. जो नॉर्थ ईस्ट के स्टेट्स हैं स्पेसिफिकली उन पर ध्यान देने की खासा ज़रूरत है. Now, what is the demand for the Northeast? The Northeastern region that comprises of 8 states, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. तो ये कुछ 8 important states हैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट के जिनकी कनेक्टिविटी या फिर मेन स्ट्रीम इंडिया से कनेक्शन को लेकर के काफ़ी ज़्यादा सवाल उठाए गए. Recent participations in the policy conservation, खास करके मणिपुर की बात करें, one of the 4 states which has the border with Myanmar, right? Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram के भी है. So this will clarify the needs and priorities for the Manipur. Separately, wide-ranging interactions with intelligentsia, artists, and even in Calcutta this took place, and major metropolis views for the Indo-Pacific as a lens of the culture was also highlighted. तो मणिपुर जैसे रीजन जो एक बहुत ही सिग्निफिकेंट पोटेंशियली स्टेट है वहाँ पे, उसे भी ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट करने की जरूरत है, बीट इट्स एजुकेशन, हेल्थ एंड मेनी अदर सेक्टर्स. नाउ इंडो-पैसिफिक कॉन्क्लेव्स की अगर बात करें, बोथ Indo-Pacific conclave that was hosted by the Asian Confluence think tank leading to the study of India's Northeast. The first was partnership with the Ministry of External Affairs and Manipur University, and the second has the United Nations Consulate with the Greater Calcutta as a partner. Security situation in Manipur की अगर बात करी जाए, कुछ पिछले सालों में even for like since 2017 we have seen that the situation has improved. The core issues behind the insurgency has remained unsolved. The way forward is to address the sustainable and accelerated peace forward. The official perspective was to pernicious phenomenon of smuggling, drug trafficking, transnational border crime, insurgency, influx, and Marmot representative as a transnational threat. China is viewed as a constant player behind the nefarious activities. तो चाइना को कर्व करने के लिए वहाँ पे जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट है, जो स्ट्रेंथनिंग ऑफ सिक्योरिटी है, स्ट्रेंथनिंग ऑफ बॉर्डर एरियाज है, उसे हमें और ज़्यादा रोबस्ट करना होगा और ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग करना होगा. Now, development as a priority, definitely, it's the only way. Development is the way out. So the Northeast is one of the right part to concentrate on the economic development. Most awaited is improvement in the road linking to the northeastern town. Job creation की बात की गई है ताकि जो graduates हैं वो वहाँ के local universities में पढ़ सकें और livelihood options को generate कर पाए. Manipur needs to be promoted as a hub of the medical tourism for the state and the neighborhood countries like Myanmar. Myanmar के लिए भी एक ही hub की तरह create हो सकती है. The state research and development facilities to leverage the region, that should be the biodiversity, should be expanded. It's a huge potential. तो biodiversity development की भी बात की गई है. Accelerated development require investment by the Indian corporates and foreign investors as well as for the better management. So if these things are done, the management will be taken into consideration and the overall development, the sustainable development of the state will definitely proceed. Now, way forward, there are two common threads that has emerged in the recent exchange. The first is the growing significance of the Bay of Bengal region that permeates the thinking of scholars. Therefore, the member states need to invest more in the Bay of Bengal initiative for the multi-sectoral economic cooperation, जिसे BIMSTEC के नाम से जाना जाता है, to enhance the effectiveness. And second is the implementation of India Indo-Pacific strategy. Voice from the northeastern and the eastern India must be heard. तो ये सारी ज़रूरतें हैं वहाँ के लोगों की. Basically, the central government and the state government need to collaborate in the overall development strategy for the northeastern region. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, also the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice. आपको बताना है olive ridley turtle के बारे में. It's a carnivorous turtle. The Odisha Garimatha Marine Sanctuary is known as the world's largest crockery of the sea turtle. Second question, that is the National Urban Digital Mission. The Ministry of Communications has launched the National Urban Digital Mission. It will create a shared digital infrastructure for urban India, working across three pillars of the people process platform to provide holistic support in the cities and town. So is this the options correct? You have to check and you have to mark for the correct option. So these type of questions will definitely help you to get an edge over the upcoming prelims examination. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.